Welcome to this short introduction to the weekend that's going to be at the Psychosynthesis Trust in February that I'm calling Picturing Self.
You've used painting and portraiture particularly in your therapy for quite a number of years. How did that come about?
In the mid-80s, I was working as a support worker, and I found that inviting people who found talking about themselves difficult or were reluctant to talk about themselves, inviting them to the art room and suggesting that I painted their portrait enabled a much freer rapport. It worked brilliantly, actually. There were some people who were very tight, but who, when I was painting them, just opened up.
Now I can see that these paintings are representational, but I understand you're going to use a completely different approach for this weekend. Can you tell us something about it?
Well, over the years, I've sort of come to see the idea of the traditional painting as a bit of a con. We wander around the National Portrait Gallery and you see just head and shoulders. But we are more than just head and shoulders. You know, there's the rest of the body. There's the internal organs, there's the mind, there's the spirit, there's the feelings. So let's try and make paintings that incorporate so much more of us than just head and shoulders.
I know this is going to be a doing weekend, and for somebody like me who's don't consider myself particularly visually aware and certainly not got any artistic skills particularly, how would you deal with that? I mean, what would actually happen?
So we're going to lead, there's going to be discussion around what the self is. There's going to be some guided meditations that are going to lead us into imagery from the past, imagery from present and future. We're going to do some work with colour. I'll introduce the colour wheel and just the sheer joy of an emotional intensity of colours. This will be quite an important part. Hey, look at that. Purple and blue crashing together. So the world of colour and the emotions and feelings that come from it. That's going to be part of it. Other part is using the oriental brush. I did some work, some study with a painter called Cecil Collins way back in the 80s, and he introduced this incredible flexible thing. So, you know, the thinnest to the thickest line to the it really looks after itself, that takes, and then there is. So a whole range of marks that are very personal, that come from the body, that are very much about self, about how we, each one of us has our own series of marks, our own way of expressing who we are.
That sounds really exciting. So we're painting what we feel. That's the idea that this internal comes from. So we're not actually painting our hands or as they actually are, but the feeling.
Spot on.
That's fascinating.
The feelings, and trying to get in touch with this mysterious thing called self through colour, through touch, through the body, through all these ways.
Sounds splendid.